Catalonia, and following the tidal wave of news following the Italian Grand Prix, we've almost got a complete picture of how the grid is going to look in 2019. And if you're just joining us off the back of the Dani Pedrosa press conference, you won't be alone in thinking that. We thought we were going to start this show off with a bit more news, but it sounds as though no news at the moment, which actually is good news, because it does mean, although we learned that Dani Pedrosa, his time with Honda after 18 years, an astonishing career, has come to an end, it sounds as though he will be still in the paddock next year.
That's looking like that, Amy, isn't it? Yeah, there's been so much speculation right since Dani Pedrosa said he was hoping to make a big announcement about his future here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. That prompted speculation that he was going to retire, step away from the sport. It also prompted speculation that he was probably, or maybe, going to this new Petronas Yamaha satellite team, which keeps doing the rounds in the paddock. Thankfully, it's not the retirement option, it seems. Yeah, Dani Pedrosa just said to us live here in Barcelona he is considering good options for 2019. So it doesn't look like he's going to step away from the sport, but at this stage, still quite a few negotiations to be finalised as far as Dani's future.
I have to be honest with you, I'm quite happy that we haven't got our hankies ready just yet. But even the news of the mutual end of the partnership with Honda, it's so significant, and it does feel like when you see, I mean, the only way I could kind of describe it is looking at your favourite partners breaking up.
We've been on tenterhooks, haven't we, to find out exactly what Dani Pedrosa's been doing. He has ridden his entire World Championship career with one single manufacturer, 18 years with Honda. They've been as loyal to him as what he's been to them, you've got to say. But yeah, they obviously felt like it was time for pastures new for Dani Pedrosa. I think Dani looks like he's also ready for new challenges. Secretly, I'm really hoping he does find a way onto that Petronas Yamaha if that team does come to fruition, because people have always questioned, what if with Dani, what if he jumps on another motorcycle? Will that be the key to him maybe fighting for that MotoGP World Championship for the first time in his career? But of course, Amy, as you well know, his departure from Repsol Honda triggered one of the biggest shocks we've had straight after Mugello. Well, there we have it. I mean, we thought that headline was going to steal all of the news. Jorge Lorenzo, after taking his first win on the Ducati, announced that he will be partnering none other than our defending world champion Marc Marquez to make what we have to say is going to be a formidable team. Well, it's the dream team.
Yeah,
it's the team from the heavens, isn't it, really? I mean, it's the strongest team in MotoGP, no doubt about it. Marc Marquez and Jorge Lorenzo, they've won the last 6 MotoGP World Championships together. They've won the most races, they've been on the most podiums. Jorge Lorenzo, it looked like he was he was cut adrift by Ducati. Repsol Honda, they tried to get Andrea Dovizioso, they tried to get Joan Mir, they tried to get Joan Zarco. We believe they talked to Jack Miller. Jorge was not their first pick, but knowing that he was available, they could not say no. I mean, putting that team together, it's going to be fascinating to see how those two fight it out with each other. They haven't had the greatest relationship in the past. Jorge's been quite critical of some of Marc's aggressive riding, but you've got to admire Lorenzo. Stepping into that team, which we know has been controlled by Marc. He's the clear #1 rider, Honda's golden boy. He did it years ago when Valentino Rossi was the kingpin of MotoGP back in 2008 as a rookie. He is not scared to embrace a tough challenge. Well,
like you say, it's going to beg a few questions, that being one of them. The other one being, he's just going from one bike that's renowned as being quite a difficult one to learn and to ride onto another one.
Well, this is one of the things that's a bit hard to fathom about his decision to go to Honda. A lot of people we talked to in the paddock today say, blimey, if he thinks the Ducati's a physical bike to ride, wait till he jumps on that Honda. We know that the Honda's improved this year. It's a more user-friendly, rideable package. But you talk to Marc Marquez and Cal Crutchlow and Dani Pedrosa after every race, they look drained. They look absolutely shattered. It's a very, very physical bike to ride. It's taken Jorge Lorenzo 24 races to get his head around what he needs on the Ducati. It's still a beast, that Ducati, and he struggled. So it's not going to be all plain sailing. Jumping in to try and beat Marc Marquez on the same bike is going to be a tough challenge, but I can't wait. It's going to be a fascinating aspect of 2019 to see how those two gel together.
The Valencia test is going to be as exciting as the Grand Prix at this rate. But obviously there was more news that followed that. So good news for our Malaysian fans and Malaysian audience, because Happy Shireen has confirmed he will remain with Tech 3. However, on board a KTM, so good news there. But then that we also then learn the next thing, or the next pin drop. Andrea Iannone confirmed that we knew he was leaving Suzuki, but he will be moving into Scott Redding's place in Aprilia. Excuse the bike noises, we're in the pit lane and it's getting particularly noisy right now.
Yeah. Everyone's getting prepped and ready to go for first practice tomorrow. Yeah, it's been absolutely crazy, hasn't it? I mean, the craziest week I can recall in my MotoGP career. The likes of Andrea, like you say, moving to the factory Aprilia team, confirmation to Happy Shari. Fair play to him, as he deserves another crack on that Tech 3 KTM. And of course, Joan Mir as well, the hot property outside of MotoGP, confirmed to be joining Alex Rins in the Suzuki team next year. So many chopping and changing, and nothing will ever, though, top the whole way to Renzo to Repsol. I mean, that's one of the biggest transfer stories, probably since Rossi went to Ducati. That was massive, massive news. But yeah, finally, our 2019 grid is shaping up quite nicely. The next big piece of the jigsaw to fall in place, of course, will be Danny Pedrosa, and whether we will have a satellite Yamaha team.
And obviously Danilo Petrucci making his dreams come true.
I told you it was hard to keep a track.
It really was hard to keep up last week. Now listen, we are very, very, very close to having to hand over our press conference, which means we can welcome our guest this week, none other than Davide Brivio, team manager at the Suzuki team. And don't worry about the wires. As long as you survive, that's all that matters. Come in and join us, Davide. Well, Davide, firstly, congratulations on your new signing, Joan Mir. We were just saying how the highs and lows of the last week, but for you, a great signing for the future.
Yeah, hi to everybody, and of course we're very happy we could get him on board for next year, and it's maybe a little bit early, somebody say, but if we don't do that now, maybe somebody else will do, and so we didn't want to lose opportunity. And anyway, I think it's one of the great talent for the future, and what we're trying to do is to try to grow him up and hopefully have a success together in the future. We're trying to prepare a strong team together. Alex Rins and Joan Mir can be a very strong package for the future, and so we see.
Davide, you've done this before with Maverick back in 2015. You did it also with Alex Rins. Your policy's been to bring in a very young rider. What is it that you've seen in Joan Mir in Moto3 in the first part of his Moto2 career that's thought he's got to be on a GSX-RR as quickly as possible?
Yeah, he's okay. I think talking to him, you can see he has very clear mind. He has his own idea, despite he's very young, but he knows what he wants, and you can see he's a little bit special, also last year winning the title with 10 wins in Moto3, something quite incredible, and already you can see how he's adapting to the Moto2. He's already in a top package, already scored 2 podium. Also, the race in Austin was like a winner pace, the race. So, you can see he's learning quickly. Is something special, I think. And also, as I say, he's a great guy. He knows what he wants. So we're very much looking forward for the future and see what's happening. It's a nice challenge. And as a Suzuki, we like this type of challenge. You're right, we did with Maverick and was going very well. Then Maverick decided to leave. With Alex Rins also we are enjoying. He's a great talent, really. You can see what he does on a bike, also looking the data. And we need to make up some things, putting together, but he has a great potential. Also, you see last race in Mugello was with the top package, and that's what he can do. Now we have to make him do in every weekend.
Davide, I know it's the name of the game, but is there not a little bit of a worry or a concern that you will, develop Joan over the next 2 years? You'll get him up to MotoGP standard, because obviously, that takes time to get used to a MotoGP bike, and then somebody else or another factory will come in for the swoop.
Yeah, that's of course is the danger, and but our challenge is to create the good package with the bike, the great team behind, and to make the rider thinking that it's better continue to stay where he is. And so we know there is this danger, but okay, we take the risk and we try to win the challenge.
What about Andrea, Davide? It looks like your decision with him was based pretty much on what happened in 2017, because he's had a very, very strong start to this year, a couple of podiums. If Andrea had perhaps had this form a little bit earlier, would it have been a little bit of a different story with regards to him?
Yeah, yes or not. It's true that unfortunately, with this crazy riders market, it starts quite quickly, so you have to kind of base your judgment on previous season, winter testing, because then when we were already at the first race in Qatar, the discussion was already
it's all going
narrow.
crazy.
I mean, actually, I can tell you, the discussion started a lot earlier, like even last year, but it's just a chat, you know, like you talk to managers of riders come to say, how is the situation?
Espresso.
You ask to them, you ask to them, what do you want to do? We'll see, it's too early, but the chat keeps going for long.
Yeah.
Then you narrow the discussion, you know, you select the chats and maybe you go a little bit in detail weeks by weeks. And by the first race in Qatar and the second race was already starting to make up ideas. And that's true, you are only based on the first race of the season, first 2-3 races, and then what is done the previous year. So it's true that this affected our judgment in case of Andrea, but also it's true that we really wanted the opportunity to get John Mir. I mean, it was really a decision, was our choice to get him on board for the future, to prepare the future. So a little bit of both, but I would say, I mean, we happy with
Joan Mir is not a rider you want to let slip through the net, is he? So.
Davide, I was having a chat with Alex earlier at his debrief, because obviously one thing you guys have got to bear in mind with the form you've had so far in this early part of the season, there's a real possibility that you might be without your concessions next year, which then affects, I mean, we've got to assume that Alex Rins will be carrying most of the development weight on his shoulders, and he was saying that perhaps one of the biggest things will be the fact that you can't develop your engines anymore. Have you got a forward plan at this point should you lose your concessions for next year?
Yeah, we hope to lose concession. Of course, it will be more complicated, but this means we had a good season, and so this is, I would say, this is the first target. But I have to say that Alex is very young, but already last winter he did quite a big job on developing the bike, because we had a different engine configuration, different chassis configuration, and he chose his own package, and I would say he made good choices. He built up a good bike around him, and this was his job. Also, this year we started also to use the test team. We have Sylvain Guintoli. He's doing a good job. He's helping. So I think we cover also on development, and I think also if John, as I think, is a little bit special rider, he will, I think, get very quickly into the development as well. So he will understand the bike. So I'm not worried about the development. I'm more worried to get the fast rider for the race.
And in terms of, you just mentioned, we're going to have to hand over our press conference, unfortunately, now. But before we let you go, Davide, Sylvain is here this weekend. Is he riding a 19 bike? Are there any new, what's new?
Yeah, not really a 19 bike, but he's riding an evolution of the engine.
Okay.
Not big step, but something a little bit better. And if the weekend will go well and he will have positive comments, this engine will be available for Alex and Andrea probably since Assen.
Sounds good. Well, yeah. Davide, thank you so much for joining us. All the best for the rest of this season, and congratulations once again with your new signing.
Let's wait for the congratulations. Let's see the results, okay? Yeah, sorry.
Right, Matt, as always, thanks so much for your comments.
Pleasure.
And we are handing over to our press conference now. We'll see you guys later on this weekend. Who's honking the horn?
Sorry, I just wanted to wait.